Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus, the Riven Realms. We're about to turn in all of our stuff with the maggots. I have joined the maggots. A loud, exuberant cheer erupts as you and your crew join the rowdy company. Somebody presses a tankard into your hands, others clasp your shoulder, and satisfied words along the lines of, "That's the spirit," are being shouted. It doesn't take long for the party to get in full swing, toasts are being uttered, stories shared, blithesome songs are being sung, and of course all the while the drink flows. After a while you begin to lose count of events, not that it would matter, it's all in good fun. When the first faint light of dawn begins to glimmer on the horizon, you realize you're among the last people who haven't passed out yet, and dizzily decide that maybe it's time to get some sleep. You're sure the morning will be quite unpleasant for Vagrus and crew alike, but right now you don't care. The night was worth today's fatigue. Okay, that was really interesting. Audience with Bashir. We have successfully raided the Comitatus. Bashir sends out some of his lackeys to check the provisions amassed in the courtyard. After they are done with making a quick inventory, he nods in appreciation. "Good work," he says. "This will give us the means to endure a while longer out here." "Anything else?" he asks. We report progress on the Necopine quarry. He takes the obsidian. And then we report that we brought all of the supplies they need, and they do buy them off of us at the very least. I don't know if those are good prices, probably not. Bashir sends out some of his lackeys. He says the exact same thing and hands you a small coin purse. And then you have done all he asked you to do. He raises his eyebrow. "Is that so?" he asks. "What is it that you have accomplished?" You quickly recount your successful ventures to him. Considering I just did all three, it's very funny that I have to do that. I understand why, because I'm sure you could go and come back and whatever. "Good job, maggot," he smiles. "Good job indeed. Here's a small compensation for your troubles." With that, he tosses you a small pouch heavy with coin. "Also, I believe Dewcatcher may be willing to see you now that you have proven your worth. I'll arrange an audience for you if you wish. You can come back in an hour or so." You thank him and take your leave. We only got 6 lurg. These people don't realize what my services normally cost. Strange news. Why don't we ditch some of these beasts of burden now? 1. I think we can get rid of 2. And then we can fire the workers that we have. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, good. Good news. Let us go speak with Dewcatcher. See if Bashir managed to arrange an audience with Dewcatcher. Once more, you walk up to the domed main building of Fort Larius to talk to Bashir. The bald overseer greets you heartily. "Ah, Vagrus," he says. "Good that you came. I spoke to Dewcatcher about your exploits, and he has taken an interest in you. He's ready to grant you an audience if you are so inclined." "Yes, I want to speak to Dewcatcher." Bashir stands up from behind his makeshift desk and walks to a shelf in the corner of the central building. He pulls out a seemingly random scroll and reaches into the wall behind it. There's a clicking sound. A wall segment moves slightly. Bashir uses his considerable weight to push the hidden door open to reveal a set of stairs. "Come," he says. Dewcatcher awaits. Follow Bashir. "Come to think of it, I've got more important things to do." No, let's follow him. I like the idea that he shows you a secret entrance and then you're immediately like, "Nope, I gotta go, later." And he's like, "That's not suspicious at all." A series of stairs and corridors ultimately lead the two of you into an underground chamber, an office of sorts from the looks of it. The walls are lined with rows and rows of shelves. Each of them is stacked to the brim with scrolls and parchments. In the middle is a huge desk, this time a genuine one, not improvised of crates, behind which a tiny robed figure stands with its back to you. "Is that the one you spoke of?" he asks. Bashir slightly bows. "Yes, Master Dewcatcher. I believe you could make good use of this person given our next endeavor." The hooded figure still doesn't turn around. "That remains to be seen." "Well, come closer, Vagrus, so I can decide what to do with you." Approach the hooded figure. He is a bald man. "Thank you, Bashir," the hooded one says. "You can leave us now." Without a single word, Bashir turns on his heels and departs. You are alone with the mysterious Dewcatcher. Slowly, the concealed figure faces you and pulls back the hood. You glimpse a perfectly ordinary face void of any distinctive features. Dewcatcher turns out to be a middle-aged, bald-shaven man. If you passed him in the streets of any of the larger cities, you wouldn't have given him a second thought. "Surprised?" he asks with a wry smile. "What did you expect, Sergorod himself?" "I don't," you start, but he interrupts you. You don't? No, yes. No surprise there, really. You seem rather bright to me, and bright agents is what I need right now. Are you up for the task? I have some questions first. I consider curiosity to be a virtue. What is it you want to know? Dewcatcher isn't your real name, is it? And how did you deduce that? He asks sarcastically. Of course it isn't, but you won't back off. So who are you really? You don't look like the average wasteland warlord. I wonder why I think I should tell you. Try to persuade him. We gained insight. He sighs. I suppose I might as well tell you. After all, you should know the facts if you are about to make informed decisions. He pauses for a moment before closing his eyes. My name is Mus Grisio. And yes, you guessed right, I'm not some run-of-the-mill desert brigand. I used to be an official in Vitris, Torzag shelter, that is, before my rivalry with a man named Tullus Capasius and some unfortunate events led to my fall from grace within the imperial apparatus. That should explain my connections within the shelter, and to some degree even my motivations. Also, this is all you need to know at this point. Is there anything else you wanted to know? Tell me about this task. Good, maggot, Dewcatcher says. Here's the story. The reason our operation here runs as smoothly as it does is because I happen to employ some trustworthy fellows back in the shelter. Unfortunately, as of late, these trustworthy fellows failed to report in the usual timely manner, which led to me being rather worried for the fate of my enterprise. I do believe that one individual going by the name of Tullus Capasius, a high-ranking official in the city, is behind all this. He somehow must have gotten wind of my doings within the shelter, and now apparently wishes to push me out of business. I won't let him. What is your business? I could get in on this. I know Tullus sent me out here, but I'm a free agent, man. I'm willing to switch sides. Now, what I want you to do is go to the shelter and look for my missing spies. Your first contact should be an agent with the code name Buzzard, one of the few reliable men I've still got left. To avoid suspicion, meet him in the merchant district, which is public enough. He found around the north side of the Mercatus plazas. It is best if you have some members of your comitatus with you, in order to appear as an ordinary merchant browsing the market. Before you can interrupt with a question, he continues. You will recognize Buzzard by his staff carved of Krawag bone. Approach him by asking when the great chandelier will be lit. He will understand, and it will be able to point you in the right direction. Once you know what transpired in the city, return back to me. Consider it done. I have some questions first. Nah, I'll do it. Why not? If we ever want to come back out here, though, we should bring booze. Because they will buy mushroom beer or wine. Good to know. This is for Skornar. I should give that to him, like, now. We don't have any more movement because we partied hardy. So let's go ahead and rest. And give Skornar his beer before I forget. Present. And we can give this to him every 6 days. The dude is a monster. How often can we give him luxury wine? Only 30 days. Okay. But and luxury wine's pretty expensive. All right. We're trying to gain everybody's loyalty, so it's an upward struggle for some of these people. Could probably gift something to Garrick at the same time. And then ask him about smuggling? Ask him about contraband? Your cargo hold is gonna be checked for contraband at the gates of the major city, mate. Imperials are pretty thorough with this stuff. They'll be looking for obsidian blades, bogweed, dragon steel, dragon bone mostly. You can get away with selling those elsewhere that would F with your profit, and we don't want that, do we? We're sure to hide the kind of stuff before you get to the city. You ask him where to sell contraband and the dwarf scratches his beard. Well, there's always the gangs for the weed, but with the more serious stuff, you need the collegia, which is less likely if you do business too often with the gangsters. Talk about something else. Oh, I was trying to help you, man. About his past? Dang it. Plans? Ah, yes. Offer to help with regaining his smuggling business. He raises his eyebrow. Oh, we're not good enough. Wait a minute. No, we're not good enough. I'll think about it. Hold on. I'm gonna come back. Just a second. Can I upgrade my evaluate real quick? 1, 2. Yes. Haha. Hey, Garrick, you remember we talked about helping you with your smuggling business? So you want to help poor me, he says mockingly. Can't help wondering why that is. You wouldn't want to purchase a share of the profits, would ya? You tell him that you would not say no. Garrick looks giddy. Well, I would have thought less of you if you didn't. A Vagrus should keep keen eye on profits. That's what I always say. How about 20% of the overall value? Try to negotiate your way up to 25. He begins to grumble and moan like someone with a severe toothache, but he finally accepts. Yeah, shit myself then, he groans. If that's what it takes, you have sudden extra 5%, you cheap lousy bastard, I might add. Can we move along now? Pretty effing please? You've struck an accord. So glad you're in, I'm about to shit myself. The dwarf announces. Would have been a mighty cluster if I decided to do this on my own. Now listen, I've got some stashes with the fine goods and finer silver hidden all around this effing wasteland, in case things got hairy, you know? And since I did, I'm gonna cash 'em in, and I'm about to tell you where these darn lads, I hid 'em. You assure Garrick that you are all ears. First, he begins, there's one at the foot of the Terathian Falls stone spires, in its southern outskirts. Don't think that it shouldn't be too much of a problem, although there's always a chance that things go to shite. Then I hid one crate in the desert, just south of Mirage, not far from a shithole of those filthy Sidera bombs. And lastly, I have to do some digging in the southeastern reaches of the friggin' Haggard Tool. Ever-loving ancestors, how I hate that place. But it was out of the way, so I thought it was a good idea back when I hid the goodies. Looks like your next venture is to reclaim the stashes for him. Got all of that, did ya? What a bright mate ya are, he says. A bold suggestion here. Maybe don't go screwing around too much. You might be my boss for the time being, but you're gonna make it worthwhile for me. Else what's the point of me sticking around? Better hurry up, mate. Now, with this settled, you can talk about something else. Cool. Well, we pushed Garrick's progress around. Hey, it's actually not that far away. And then this one in Terathian's Falls, which we could do if we want to chase down the outlaws out here. And then Mirage will do that probably when we head out to Avernum to get the art for the guy. How much supplies do we have? Let's end the day. We have 6 days of supplies. They don't have much out here and they're pretty expensive, but we're gonna buy them because we need to. All right, let's go out there and see if we can't get his stash right now. It's still a little ways out. I almost wonder, do you think it's this one or is it this one? The decisions must be made. Oh, we got more movement. Hell yeah. Okay, never mind. I take it back. It's not the nubs I thought it was. Right here. Yes! Lucky me! The Comitatus creeps along the border of Haggard Tool and the wetlands. The plains slowly give way to softer ground. Beasts of burden have a hard time making their way over the muddy ground. While thinking about how to traverse these treacherous lands, you are approached by Garrick. The dwarf clears his throat to address you. My mate, he says crookedly, made me a promise to retrieve what I hid, didn't ya? This is about me stash. Hid it around here, so high time we search for it. Might take a jolly good time. Damn bog tends to shift around. Still, we're bound to find it sooner or later. Set out to find the stash. Rain begins pouring as you proceed to search your surroundings while the Comitatus waits your return. Hours pass by, and all the while Garrick keeps promising that his stash is very close. Indeed, friggin' close now. Yes, turns out it is. As you come upon a crooked tree, Garrick suddenly shouts, "Here we are! There, right among the roots!" He begins to dig. The swamp's mosquitoes descend upon you like a storm of angry, buzzing, tiny-winged demons, intent on feasting on your blood. And as you swat at them in vain, you cannot help but think about the various diseases that might have inflicted upon you and your comies. After a few minutes, the dwarf uncovers a small iron box from underneath the mud. He then hugs it like it is the most precious thing he has ever seen in his life. He actually begins to caress it before you interrupt him to ask whether some of its contents are your share, as agreed upon. But a friggin' course! He barely listening to you. When we have all 3 stashes and I tally up the value, you'll get your bloody share. With Garrick's stash retrieved, it's time to return to the Comitatus. We've gained mosquito infection, and that has made our workforce worse. Oh no. Well, we have to camp out here, unfortunately. Let's get our vigor back. That didn't fix the problem. I think we go here. Because unfortunately, you can't come into Fort Larius from the east for some reason. Maybe there'll be some workers I can hire. They've got 6 supplies. All right, we've got 5 days to get back to we'll have 4 days to get back to Torzeg Shelter. We might have to go for 50% food at some point. Although we might, I think we can ditch another beast of burden actually. Yep. Okay, that actually solved our problem, and it gave us a little more food, or maybe not. I don't know. Takes 5 days, reduces our workforce and our max vigor. That's rough, but we will rest, sleep on the ground, exchange for news while we're here, and then head west as fast as we can. What was the route we took to get here? Seems to have gone. Did get a movement boost. I think it was up this way. Yeah, I think we like beelined across the desert like this, or the wasteland, I should say. Yeah, we'll have to wait for the mosquito disease to go away before we can get our full vigor back. And then I think we want to go like this across the cracks. We have 2 days left. Go up here. And we can send people out. Hopefully they get lucky today. We got some success. It got us back to 2 days of supplies. That's grand news. We got our little movement buff. I think we're gonna have to go for 50% today and send our guys out. They didn't get lucky today. Go around. That's all of our movement. Go back to full nutrition. No, stay at 50%. Yes. Oh God. We can shoo them away with some charms. That's not a problem. Every time I see them, I'm like, holy God. I'm just afraid of skeletons, I guess. All right, I think we can go back to full food today. Not quite. Oh, so short. Let's do the quick forced munch. It'll take a little bit of vigor, but we're in the city, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Show our trade license and grand news. We have our things to turn in, and we even have just some metal lying around. And we have 20 supplies for us. Just for me. All right. So, we want to go to the market district to, well, we should visit the compound for Gorgoro. Maybe I was here too recently because he didn't get any loyalty today. Looked for the man called Buzzard, whom Dewcatcher told you to contact. As per the instructions of Dewcatcher, you gather some wares, workers, guards, and trustworthy companions, and then head for the merchant district. There you set up a stand on the north side of the Mercatus plazas and begin to stroll through the crowd, constantly looking for a person fitting the description you were given. Look for your contact at the market. After some time, you spot someone who could be the one you seek, a gaunt figure leaning on a staff carved of the bone of some large reptile, lurking on a corner of a small alley. You approach him and ask quietly, "When shall the great chandelier be unlit?" The man looks around furtively and then raises a long-nailed finger to his dry lips. "Not safe here, not safe anywhere," he whispers hoarsely. "Bring someone you can trust and come with me." Follow Buzzard. You bring one person you trust. All right, Krifta, you're kind of into skullduggery. Come along. Buzzard leads you along winding back alleys, downstairs and ladders, and eventually you find yourself way below the terraces of the upper districts in the Undercity. The light of the braziers barely penetrates the everlasting twilight here. This still doesn't seem to be enough for Buzzard. He urges you through an alcove into a small atrium where you can barely see your outstretched hand in front of you. Your companion waits at the entrance, watching. "Dewcatcher sent you?" he asks as he stops, still whispering. You can't help but instinctively follow suit. You know he did. Who else would have? Fine, just making sure. Good that he did. We're in dire need of assistance here. You ask him what he knows about the missing spies. Aren't you here to find that out? He cackles, although you can't imagine what's funny to him right now. But yeah, that's the thing. Someone is following us, hunting us. You nod and tell him that Dewcatcher thinks Tullus Capasius found out about the operation. Buzzard shakes his head fiercely. Nah, the Imperials we'd known how to handle. This is someone else. Must be. If not Capasius and the Imperials, then who? Buzzard's voice is almost a whine. Don't know. Listen here, I think I'm being followed. Maybe not right now. I think I might have shaken him off for a while, but I'm sure this the Calamity can't move around freely. You must try to act in my stead. You ask him what he expects you to do, and he hesitates. I'm not exactly sure about this, but I have a suspicion. Something about those little effers behaved lately. Don't know, not that you'll ever know with them. Maybe it's nothing, but still, I've got a hunch that the wraiths who work for Krengu, that little bat, you hear a curious whistling sound. Before he can finish his sentence, Buzzard hisses out in pain and jerks up his palm to his left eye. His knees buckle and he collapses to the ground. A small, vicious-looking dart sprouts from his eye socket. Yikes! He's still alive, but his whole body shakes violently and foam starts to ooze from his mouth. He's trying to speak, pointing a trembling hand behind your back. He stammers unintelligibly. You spin around just in time to glimpse a small figure on the roof of the atrium, quickly disappearing into the shadows. Give chase, or tend to... This dude's effed. You rush through the yard's alcove and shout to your companion to keep pace. As you stumble into the alley, you see the dark shape of the assailant effortlessly jumping up a nearby wall. If you want to keep up, you have to follow over the roofs and intricate scaffolding of the Undercity slums. Good thing we brought Krifta, who is fairly dexterous. Finderath would have been better. I did not get them because I was afraid of the Comitatus that they were a part of being murdered. The chase ensues, rushing through the labyrinthine rooftops of the ghetto. You try to keep up with the mysterious attacker who slithers through the shadows like a snake, always finding the impossible shortcuts, slipping through unlikely cracks, and vaulting over incredible gaps. Yet after a while, you start to gain on him, and you can even make out his shape. He's wearing a dirty cloak, concealing most of his features, but even so, it's evident that he's incredibly tiny, almost like a child. At this distance, as the distance between you shrinks, he's looking behind his shoulder more and more frequently, as if in panic. Finally, he stumbles, and within a matter of seconds, you and your companions are on him. The assailant jumps to his feet and throws his back against the firewall. Now you can see him completely. A small, wiry, white-skinned creature with pitch-black eyes and needle-sharp fangs. A wraith! Instead of surrendering, the creature produces a dagger from underneath its robe. It hisses at you defiantly. Subdue the wraith! Alright, it's Krifta versus wraith. Go! This is a wild series of events. This dagger might be weak, but it confuses the enemy so they're more likely to miss. That seems very useful in this battle. Haha, you missed, sucker. I'm just gonna keep stacking this on him. He's gonna miss me forever. I'm just gonna stand here and stab him repeatedly. He's got really high evasion. Holy God! I had to speak out loud. All right, the avoidance has come back into play. Oh, he's before me this time. Stop moving around, you bastard. His evasion is so high. The more he moves, the chunkier the game gets. Oh, we get to go now. Accuracy 100%, you're dead. I like knife fought him for like 10 minutes and then I bust out my bow and shoot him in the neck. One final blow and the wraith sinks to the ground with its back against the wall. You can see it suffered a mortal wound, but somehow it doesn't seem to be aware of it, most likely because of the shock. You decide to take advantage of the fact. You are outmatched, you address it nonchalantly, but we might let you go if you tell us who sent you and why you attacked Buzzard. The creature's black eyes look up at you pitifully. Tired. Want to sleep. You can sleep soon, just tell me what I need to know. Krengu, the wraith whispers. Our leader, Krengu, the dragon man, promised to feed, flesh to eat, to be free of masters, to be free. And with that, he dies. Well, at least you have a name now, even if it isn't too much to base your investigation on. And what was that about a dragon man? Nothing remains but to turn your back and see if you can be of any help to Buzzard. By the time you return to the hidden atrium, Buzzard is gone. His mouth is covered in foam, his face horribly distorted. His death must have been extremely agonizing. You certainly won't get any information out of him. You must somehow find this wraith named Krengu if you want you rejoin the rest of your crew. Where to begin? All you know is that the wraiths dwell within the tunnels and caves of the Undercity, and that Krengu is some kind of ringleader. Although it wouldn't be wise to attract too much attention, you see no other option than to ask around. After all, this is the Undercity. The locals must assuredly be accustomed to strangers making weird inquiries all the time. Still, you decide to be as tactful as you possibly can. Try to find them using bribes, or just ask around about the whereabouts. This seems like a better... Well, they're both pretty high. Let's try this one. We succeeded. You start to roam the zigzag alleys of the Undercity, asking questions, always heedful not to sniff around in the most obvious places or where too many can hear. Unfortunately, most people you approach just shrug and shake their heads or mumble nonsense along the lines of somewhere in the caves, I guess. Some even become openly hostile. In such cases, you have to leave their area as quickly as possible. 1 or 2 hours pass and you start to become frustrated and nervous. This cannot go on much longer. You see that high above your head, the first smaller chandeliers are already beginning to be put out for the night. But then, just as you are about to give up and retire for the evening, you run into a shady merchant who is willing to sell you the information for something in exchange. Although you are aware he might be lying, there is just no way to be sure, and this seems to be your only chance right now. You paid the merchant in goods. We don't have any goods, and we don't have any goods from our hidden stash either. The merchant explains to which alley of the Undercity you must go and describes the entrance you must look for to get to a cave where Krengu and his fellow wraiths tend to congregate. You memorize the details and head in the indicated direction after paying him with coin. That's what I would have chosen anyway. Follow the merchant's description. You walk through the back alleys and passages you wouldn't have had the chance to find on your own. Even most of the shelter's inhabitants don't seem to know these, as they are almost completely abandoned and decrepit. That and the locals are not stupid enough to ever venture here. Although at length you arrive at one of the inner cliffs looming over the Undercity, where you spot a narrow crack in the wall. You hesitate at first, but then decide that if you've come this far, you might as well see it to the end. To your surprise, the natural corridors you enter ascend rather than leading further down into the bowels of the mountain. After a while, it abruptly ends at a precipice. Well below it, there is a grotto with several exits. It seems to be an interim meeting place of sorts, not a regular living habitat. It is furnished, but only sparsely and mostly void of the junk wraiths tend to surround themselves with. About a half a dozen of the creatures creep around down there, miraculously unaware of your presence. As you eavesdrop on them from the elevated hiding spot, you catch the name Krengu several times, and soon spot the individual in their ranks they refer to. Your eyes, he looks just like all the others. Now you have to decide how to proceed. While you crouch in the shadows, you consider your options. Although you are high above the layer, you could climb down a cliff path and reveal yourself. You assume the wraiths will react in a hostile manner, but there is a small possibility you could parley with their leader, and maybe finally learn what this whole mysterious affair is about. If not, you can still fight. On the other hand, you seem to be safe here for the moment. Maybe if you continue observing the creatures, you might learn something just the same. Why don't we confront them? That was the wrong choice. Slowly you descend until you are upon a ridge almost directly above the wraiths. It's akin to a small wonder these otherwise oh-so-alert creatures haven't heard you. Krengu! You exclaim, standing up, your voice echoing through the cavernous halls for long moments. These reflexes of these creatures are unbelievable. You haven't even heard the second reverberation when they are already on their feet and stalk towards you. Some of them start scaling the wall you're standing atop. Krengu looks at you but does not move. Wait, I'm only here to talk, you shout. He shrugs. Nothing to talk about, but you have my thanks for sparing me some trouble by coming here. Now I don't have to go looking for you. Just what in Tartarus is going on in this city, but you have no time to ponder now that, as the wraiths reach your position. You expect them to be at a disadvantage, having so little space to cling, but you're wrong. The nimble creatures attack with lethal intent. Draw our weapons. All right, we got our whole crew with us at least. Good news. How wounded is Krifta? I can't see her. She's at half health. Do we swap her out for Ren? She does so much damage though, and she's got great accuracy. I think her being behind the tanks is enough to protect them. And Ilani got a crit off. Let's keep that guy locked down. Go for the shot on this guy. Skornar, go ahead and hack this dude. Their evasion hasn't served them well yet, I say before I miss. Haha, I called it. I summoned it into beating, honestly. That was my fault. That guy can't move, so I don't think he can attack. I take it back. He threw a dagger at me. Let's burn them. All right, we killed one of them. One down. And you are weak, so let's shoot you. Damn it. You are weak, so... All right, the evasion has come back to haunt me. I take it all back. Rush forward and pummel this man. I'm afraid this is gonna make him evade, but let's try for the double. We hit the wrong one. I didn't want to put down the rune because if they move, the rune doesn't help. So that's why I did that. Good finishing move, well done. And 2 down, 1 to go. Let's kick you. Damn it. I was hoping to lock him into place. Elani? Damn it. Somebody hit this man. He's dancing around like a madman. Shoot him. Good damage. Don't evade this. You bastard. Maybe he'll evade back. Go ahead and buff yourself. Oh, or just finish him off entirely. That worked pretty well. Not a bad way to go. For me, not them. You kick the last one of your attackers down the cliff and immediately follow its corpse, rushing down the path and into the grotto below, intent on not letting Krengu escape now that the miserable little creature is alone and without anyone to defend him. He tries to run, but is soon surrounded by your companions. You grab Krengu by his throat. So what is this all about, you ask? Why are you trying to kill me? What happened to the missing spies? You're supposed to be working for Dewcatcher. He isn't, someone says softly behind you. Startled, you whirl around. There in the cave, the entrance stands a gaunt, bronze-skinned man dressed in ornate robes. He's accompanied by 3 steel-clad warriors. Their arms appear to be dragon-forged. Taking advantage of your temporary lack of attention, Krengu tears himself from your grasp and runs to the man with a relieved cry. I brought them here. I've done just what you asked, Shemakan. Kill them and no more loose ends remain. I brought them here. The man regards him with nothing but contempt. It rather appears to me that they came of their own accord, but rest assured, kill them I shall, although you are wrong in assuming they are the only loose ends. Krengu glances up at him with a quizzical look. I don't understand, he starts, but one of the soldiers grabs his shoulder and runs him through with a sword. You fool! You don't have to. Oh wait, you don't have to, the robed man says without even looking at the dying wraith. He also doesn't look at you while he points in your general direction. Finish these ones as well. Stand and fight. You might be out of your depth, run. No, there's only 3 of them. Oh, okay, these guys are scary as hell. I fought them a little bit before. When I tried to tackle Kriefta's mission, it did not go well. Okay, 4 damage is solid though. Leap forward. Incoming. Ah, you got a flamethrower! Can I stun you? I cannot. That was a waste of a turn. Good dodge, or block, whatever. Damn it. Damn it, Nadir. If we can take down one of them, I'll feel much better about this. Oh, they can't attack from the back row. Ah. Or so it would appear. All right, finish this guy off. Yes, 1 down. Incoming flamethrower. Oh, he's just moved around. Stab? Oh, we gotta break his armor. All right, no more armor left. Jump forward and stab. Ooh, we blocked. More fireball, but less missing. Good job. Wow, they'd have bad accuracy. I like that. I'm approve of the bad accuracy game. Stab him. I should have tried to punch him now that I think about it, but... Ooh, you're dead, son. Jump forward and kill the mage, perhaps? Solid attack. He's got armor? I'm shocked. Well, he's dead now. Okay, this is going pretty well. Nadir, go throw down a ward. Axe attack. A miss is not well received, but a miss on my end is also good. I don't think I can stun you. Oh, I can. Okay, I'm just must have gotten unlucky last time. Crit hit is great. Burn his ass, and then Gorgoro swap positions because you're hurt. Never mind. Try and finish him off, maybe? There we go. He's dead. Good job, me. It is a bitter fight, but in the end you are victorious. Shemakan succumbs to a mortal wound with an expression of utter disbelief. He almost looks like he wants to say some final words, but all he manages is a death rattle. You weren't in this position to learn something from the man, but maybe you can learn something from his corpse. You stoop down to meticulously search his body, and there it is. Hidden inside some of his robes, you find a rolled up parchment. You unfold it with eager hands. Maybe its contents will finally shed some light on this whole obscure mess. You begin to read the letter. The letter reads as follows. My blood, Shemakan, we've received your word and duly noted your concerns. We advise you to fret not, for the power of the dragon is strong in your exalted bloodline, and your merits are trusted. You are, however, right in believing that our current operation in Torzag Shelter cannot go on in its current form, given that it was compromised by the incessant sniffing of that tedious, glorified clerk named Tullus Capasius. The diplomatic fiasco between the Dragonlands and the Empire that would surely occur should any light be shed upon our recent activities is something we will not tolerate. Therefore, this we command: deal with the agents currently in your employment in permanent fashion. In order to achieve this, we recommend you utilize those cave-dwelling primitives in your service. They are quite capable assassins. After they are done with their work, do your own and deal with them too. We must leave no trace. As for the fort, the thirsty maggots and the one naming himself Dewcatcher, they pose no threat, nor give concern to us. Without the shelter's spy ring to assist them, they will wither away in their hole like unseemly weed they are. Dewcatcher might send some task force into the shelter to investigate the disappearance of his agents, but we are sure you can handle that just like you handle the rest. One final word. Our involvement in these matters must not be found out. Remember, our goal is not to gauge an all-out war, however unlikely that may seem. Serve us as truly as you have ever done, and you shall receive your due reward. There is no signature. You wrap up the parchment. This is certainly worth your attention. You'll have a lot to report to Tullus Capasius. Slowly but quietly, you retreat the way you came. Soon you find yourself again in the relative open of the shelter's main cavern. By now, all of the chandeliers and braziers have been doused, which comes quite handy. In the dark, you head for the alleys of the Undercity, hoping to disappear amidst its confusing twists and turns. You walk quite a distance just to be sure, but then you guess it's safe to stop and plan what to do next. You look back where you came. You arrived here looking for some spies and discovered more than you bargained for. One thing you know for sure, you have to disappear from these treacherous streets as soon as possible. You think it would be best to lay low and return to Tullus Capasius. Night has settled on the shelter. We gained 6 insight. Holy crap! We gained draconic plot? Very cool. Okay. All right, we're going back to Tullus, I guess. Yeah, that guy doesn't have any, he doesn't have any, agents left, so I don't know why we would ever work for him again. Sorry, Dewcatcher. Well, that was fun. If you guys enjoyed, click the like button. It helps out a lot. If you want to see more Vagrus, the Riven Realms, or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. That also helps me out a lot. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.